The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And we'll get to a few questions I already have stacking up and email in the den. But we've got the S&P up about 3 points. The Dow's up 96. NASDAQ's off too. It's been bouncing around. And probably not expecting a lot. It was either going to be a little bit higher or a lot lower if our earnings came out for this morning. They pretty much came out in line, but everybody's a little fearful. No one wants to show them theirs before they see the others persons. You know what I mean. And of course, part of that is Monday, where we get into earnings again, and that's a much bigger issue for everybody. They really don't have a sense yet, so they're not going to get their head too far over the chopping block. Monday, of course, is Bank of America before the bell, BlackRock, JB Hunt, Netflix after the bell. So we're going to see a little bit more. And then a Tuesday for the banks, Goldman or banker dealers, Goldman Sachs, United Health, Johnson & Johnson, Lockheed Martin, America, Mercantile Bank, Charles Schwab, CSX. So by Monday night, you got UAL after the bell, but I think that's kind of already been smashed. CSX probably fairly interesting, especially what they're telling us about moving oil out of Canada. The Baker Hughes numbers, rig counts came out, and why the U.S. rig count number hasn't been going up very much. We've seen a massive, maybe over 25%, maybe 30% pop in the last 3 months in rig counts in Canada. Now, they have a smaller number to start from, and they have to get most of the work done in the summer because it's just too cold up north to get it done in the winter. So they progress, but man, they're if you want to talk about drill, baby, drill, those Canadians are going after the oil big time. But again, those numbers tend to slow down in the winter because they just literally can't get to the locations. The new pipeline down all the way to the Gulf is going to give them a opportunity to export that oil. And you know what? We're the third largest oil exporter now, something like that. Pretty big. We import some too, though. But I think that's only going to get bigger. And kind of amazing because we had so much of the giant lie. Everybody's got a motive for lying. I always loved it because it seemed to me one of the easiest cases to disprove when everybody was screaming peak oil when it was up at 150 and 180 and everybody was screaming 300. The old saying, of course, is the best cure for a high price is a high price because everybody will come to the party. And of course, went all the way down into the 30s after hitting those highs. Now we're going to probably play around here for a while, but my guess is that long term, we're probably talking about $50 a barrel oil for a while if you wanted to average out it over time. Right now, I suspect that just having Venezuela and Iran curbed for oil production is enough to make that marginal difference between $70 and $50. Venezuela probably the easiest one to come back on board as soon as they give up their dalliance with communism and finally admit that it doesn't work. But And you can't do that if you're communism. It, it's 6,000 years of recorded history. It's failed every single time and miserably. And of course, now 40% of the people starving to death in Venezuela. But yet, you can't admit that it's failed and decide to maybe try something different. But well, what can you say? Okay. So let's go ahead. I wanted to look at a couple of things here that I didn't look at in the last few minutes. Let's take a look at volume. And so far today, let's call it 3.2 billion shares on the CBOE total volume summary. Again, you really want to see something like about 4.5 billion at this time to see a lot of volume. But again, don't think you're going to see that until Monday and maybe Tuesday. Of course, Wednesday or Friday of next week is options expiration. And we're kind of just in this big bowl out here. There's not a lot of risk reward higher right now. And I certainly don't see it lower unless we come out with some people with some fairly bad earnings numbers. But right now, there's not a lot to squeal about. We just have to, it's kind of like an election. You just have to wait for the election. I think a lot of people will tell you which candidate's going to win. But we learned pretty well that we can't trust the press. They've got kind of an agenda and blinders on, no different than the financial press. So we're going to just have to wait for the earnings and the reactions to those earnings. And that means a lot of times you just go a little sideways. I thought we're maybe a little higher than I thought we would be, but I see nothing that says that we're going to close below Wednesday's low between now and next Friday. So don't think you're going to wake up one day and find the S&P 100 down 100 points short of some kind of nuclear war or 9/11 or something that literally nobody can predict. That's what they call unpredictable. But just kind of sitting around at these levels. There's also kind of just the way when a stock or an index or even the markets gets fairly close to a previous high, that they just it's like a little magnet. It's gonna get up there and test. Now maybe it gets up there and tests 2840 on light volume next week and gives you a signal. But I don't think you've got any signal here. And in fact, generally after you hit kind of oversold highs, you almost always get a retest of those highs. So I suspect, could you come back down 10 points or something on Monday? Yeah, but my guess is we are going to go up there and tag that 2480 or 2840, and it's going to be fairly quick. So that's kind of about it. We're going to do a little history when we come back. We'll talk about Amazon going into Cisco and Juniper's playground. And is there any stopping Amazon? I think there is. A lot of people don't agree with me, but it's their right to be wrong. We'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Dollar index 94.48. So hanging in this area just under 95.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
And probably the biggest shot in technology heard around the world was in a sales meeting today in 1949. IBM sales meeting. Thomas J. Watson himself, Jr., predicted that within 10 years, electronics would replace moving parts and machines. His vision launched IBM into the dominating the computer industry, and why GE is really thought of as the premier company in transistors. The company that actually ended up making the most money out of it in those next 20 or 30 years was IBM. GE was no slouch. They really didn't make any money, even though they did a lot of the heavy lifting and getting those things in and out the door. But what was it, about 1958? IBM had the first all transistor computer that was selling well. They had some before that. They were kind of examples. But on this day in 1949, kind of the shot heard around the world for vacuum tubes going away and transistors coming into the computer realm. Let's go to some first questions. And of course, one of the things Amazon's talking about today is getting all jiggy with the business of Cisco and Juniper. It's a little higher, not much on Amazon to report. The question is, what's going on in Cisco and Juniper? The idea that these guys are going to actually build hardware to get into this space, probably a little bit overblown. But, you know, what's going to happen with Amazon? Well, it's going to be busted up. I'll tell you right now. I don't know whether it's the, you know, if it's tomorrow, 6 months, or 2 years from now. that we get the announcement in the news and we see it drop 3, 4, 500 points in a day, but it's going to be. History is replete with these. I know that they own a newspaper so that they can beat up everybody in Washington. Amazon, that is, and Jeff Bezos. But eventually, you get enough enemies all lined together. You're going to get enough people to go up there and go, "Hey, these guys are going to wipe out, 40,000 jobs in your state." And you go over to the Justice Department and go, "Hey, why isn't this antitrust issues?" And we saw it in Microsoft to a much lesser degree, and it didn't take that much to get them. This is wholly rampant, and I've read a couple of books on antitrust. I may not be a antitrust lawyer, but from the cases brought in the last 150 years, I can say that Amazon is all over this. And I wonder if this is not by design, and that is that either he really believes that he can get away with anything, or that he's going to be forced to break the company up, and that's how he's going to cash out. So could it be that Mr. Bezos just wants his money and really couldn't sell his 20% of Amazon all at once without everybody yelling and screaming? But if it gets busted apart, man, could he sell the distribution arm of it? Could he sell the generic products part of it? Could he sell Amazon Web Services and just leave him with his original retail selling site? But yeah, I don't know when it comes. This may even be enough to push it over the edge and get people started on it. It may be evil, but Mr. Bezos was smart in going after and getting a newspaper where he can basically post his free speech anytime he wants, destroy political enemies. But you know what? A handful of people making minimum wage at a distribution outfit, it's just not that much. You got a lot more people in your state. And if you give up 40,000 high paying jobs for 5,000 poor paying jobs, ain't nobody going to be happy. So let's look at Juniper real quick. Yeah, there's, in fact, one of the interesting things someone's saying in the den here about Rockefeller. Jeff Bezos is now the richest man in the world. I would like to see somebody take a guess at how much poorer he is, adjusted for inflation, than Rockefeller. It was they did a fairly decent study last week. I saw that. I didn't bring it up, but I did think it was extremely interesting to see. Everybody thinks, well, you're the richest man in the world. How rich are you? As if you look at all the dollars as a pie, how big would that pie be if you were Rockefeller back in the day, and or at the height of your powers, or maybe a Bezos or a Mr. Slim down in Florida, and of course, Florida, and in Mexico, and of course Putin, the definitive richest man in the world, may be the only guy that is going to come close in the near future to being as rich as Rockefeller was. He probably actually is. Of course, no one knows for exactly sure. What's Juniper? JNPR. Look at it. The problem in a vertical company is just that the laws are pretty plain about literally building a product, marketing the product, shipping the product, and delivering the product in those veins. I'm just not exactly sure why anybody hasn't come after them yet, but I'm going to say that I don't know what it is. It's probably, at least my guess is, a handful of people, especially people, lawyers at companies like Cisco and Juniper, other companies that have been mowed down like Walgreens, are all getting together and probably going to do a friend of the court thing and start saying why they believe that Amazon is a standalone violation of antitrust laws. But is it really that bad? I don't see where Amazon, why they're going to get into this business. I don't see how they can hurt it that much. So to me, it's just the issue of the bigger issue, let me put it that way, is Amazon just begging to get sued for antitrust. I would say this is probably going to dissipate fairly quickly. You got a little volume out here today, but I would say that the people that are probably more on the chopping block are anybody like Walgreens or CVS or those folks. That model, he's shown already that he can get products out and deliver them cheaper than anybody else. That probably doesn't fall under the same level of scrutiny that this would be. But yeah, I think eventually it's all busted up. Amazon, as we know it, the package delivery service, probably one business. Amazon Web Services another.
The Path of Least Resistance, David White's daily market letter, gives you trade recommendations based on David's proprietary power law vector indicator that put the odds of success overwhelmingly in your favor. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price for each stock and option trade. David combines his years of trading experience along with his background in technology and computing to offer his subscribers his take on the markets on a daily basis. Every trading day by 9:30, David publishes his morning issue of The Path of Least Resistance, along with updates sent out throughout the week whenever there is new actionable trading information. All new subscribers receive a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. To sign up for David White's daily trading newsletter right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And let's take a look at some other stuff going on. New highs in Microsoft. Someone wants us to take a look at that. Back up here. George wants to look at this. course, we talked about their new laptop came out on Wednesday. I'll talk to Tom a little bit about it today in the Tech Insider. Kind of an interesting deal where they wanted to make a kind of an Apple inspired uh, laptop for the very high end and had on a variety of them. This one's actually going after a market that's pretty got a lot of manufacturers are already in it with this $400 um, Surface tablet. But you know what? It's hard to say. You got a little bit more volume up here. I just think this thing's going to consolidate. Could it come back to $100? Yeah, my guess is it would probably even, you know, it may even need to do this for months or maybe even years at this level. I just don't see anything really saying that these guys end up having a really bad quarter come out of any of it. They've also got some other stuff going on that's kind of deep in the weeds, but a nice move higher, back up to 105. You had some nice volume yesterday, a little less today, but we'll see how that closes out. But still the best run company right now in Silicon Valley. And, you know, for years, you had to say that it was several other companies. But once they got rid of the CFO turned CEO 4 years ago? I got to sneeze. Oh boy. You got to keep that air on, and that air makes me sneeze. I had to run out after the postman just before the show. And I think that my little Tootsie's, I didn't have time. He was on his way. I had to get him a letter today. Went out there and ran across the blazing hot pavement of Florida in the summertime. I think I'm going to have problems walking for a couple of days. But just kind of coming back in here, you start cooling off a bit. Air conditioning hits you. It just makes me sneeze. So anyway, we looked at Microsoft. Another question about Netflix on earnings after the bell on Monday. Again, this company is far too opaque to really know what's going on inside it. They can also, now that they've gone international, they can move a lot of pieces around and jiggle the books for a while. Um, we're down. You don't have that much volume, but you know what? This thing, again, I think a lot of these stocks are setting up just like Microsoft, which is they're kind of in this higher trading range. Maybe they break out one day. Maybe they go higher. Maybe they break lower. But right now, there's nothing that says that these things are going down on heavier volume or going up on a heavier volume. So you have to, I guess, if you think about it, you have to look at these stocks as trapped in a trading range. That trading range in Netflix is somewhere around 385, 390 to 420. And we'll say at 420. So you're down today, a little lighter volume. I know a lot of people that are fairly unhappy with Netflix in the last 6 months. And I'm wondering whether or not this isn't the big surprise in technology. Again, kind of easy on Google to see whether they're doing better or worse. Ad sales, there's companies that track how much they're doing. With Netflix, much, much harder to find out how many people are downloading and watching videos, how many people love them. But I've talked to a lot of people that say, you know, they like it, but man, the last 6, 9 months really hasn't anything that really inspired them. They were very excited the first or the last couple of years with great content, and now it just seems like they're, you know, it's tough to always make great stuff. Let me put it that way. I got rid of Netflix the beginning of the year. I figure I can like go every year on and off and just watch what they've done. Just I just looked at all the new stuff for last 6 months. There's nothing that makes me think I want to go back and resubscribe. The only thing they got coming up next month, I think, is the uh, what is it? The Hunt for Red October guy has a kind of a remake of their books. It looks kind of interesting. But other than that, I haven't seen anything really announced that really makes me think that there's anything going on in that. Okay, so we got Netflix. Let's take a look at. Got a question to take a look at Apple too as we look at the FANG stocks. If I thought that was going to be one stock that was going to probably be down today, it was Apple. You don't have much on the way of higher prices. I would not be surprised to see this one as one of the few out here with lower prices going into expiration next Friday. You're at 191.84 for the high for today. You've got almost no juice, 8.5 million shares compared to 18.9 million shares yesterday. So very light volume, little higher. You're getting back into these resistance areas, but you are also coming up on earnings on it. So can this just kind of hang out oh, that's not the one I wanted to look at. It's right here. Let's get the earnings date on here, July 31st. So, I mean, you're only, next Friday's the 20th. So what do you got? 2.5 weeks. For Apple, you're well within that time frame. Could you see the 185 maybe next week and then it ramp all the way into earnings? I think you can. And that's the problem. Does Apple fall apart on earnings? Do they finally announce it? Does Buffett just swoop in and buy more shares? This is one that, as far as I'm concerned, just kind of makes trading too hard. There's too many other easier fish to catch in the sea than Apple. Unfortunately, it does affect the indexes and the zeitgeist of everybody in the market. So I continue to look at this one as one that in reality, without manipulation, could easily get much lower. But the problem is you've got the biggest manipulator and stock operator in the world, including the guy that now has the biggest operation for options in the world. And man, you got options expiration in a week. A lot of money to be made. You do the right thing. You're in both of those businesses. You've got pretty much ultimate control. So kind of tough to say anything. We'll be back. We've got a lot more stocks to look at. But nothing really changing right now. I just suspect that we could just kind of drift up all the way into next Friday. And unless we spike 28.40 and then like come off of it real quick, just thinking we're going to close all the way up higher.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks! Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And we're going to go to Rich in Oregon. How you doing today, Rich?
Good. Thanks for taking my call, David.
Okay.
Say,
what do you want to talk?
What do you see in your chart for Square for a short-term trade?
Long or short?
Short. I mean long.
Okay. just asking you.
Long or short?
If you look at the chart itself, pretty horrible for long-term long. You're going into earnings on August 1st, so it's probably going to hang up here. As far as the chart, you came down on fairly decent juice, 69.40, which is this June 21st high down to the June 28th low. You bounced on it. You've got a great double repo pattern from Joe DiNapoli, which is a great pattern for shorting. And he closed below the either 3x3 or the 9-day moving average. Would be a pretty good signal to pull the trigger short on it. The downside is you've got earnings August 1st, and it's probably going to hold up until that earnings August 1st for the most part, unless we have some kind of giant surprise next week, which I'm not expecting in the earnings. So can it drift up a little higher? It can. Would I be long this? Are you long it already?
I'm long it already, but like I said, I'm looking at maybe no more than 5 days.
Okay. What price are you long?
I got in at, let's see, 64.
Okay. You don't have much room.
No.
As long as the way I would look at it, stopping this all the way to earnings would be if it just stays above the 9-day moving average.
Okay.
And then you can hold it. But yeah, it's I don't think I have.
And that's
options.
about 65.50, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So, you're a little bit above it. Today's, kind of a nothing day. Probably Square, if you get good earnings on Monday, could you be up to 69.40? If those banks Monday and Tuesday do well, you could be back up there testing the previous high. But the only warning signal I would see out here would be a close below the 9-day or 3x3 moving averages. I just wouldn't probably hold it. I think you're right, about 5 days. Wouldn't hold it past expiration on Friday, a week from today.
Oh, options expiration on the 20th?
Yeah. So you could,
okay.
If this thing continues this kind of nickel and dime higher, you're probably going to see $70 expiration.
Okay.
So
and that's what I was looking at, was trying to get out before option expiration.
Why?
Well, I guess I'm
Here's the
skittish.
here's
I'll
the
admit it.
reason. Yeah, here's the reason I would let me get this thing. Let's make sure, because I
All right.
suspect I looked at this a while back. Let me make sure that it's real. Oh, close that too soon. Hang on a second. There we go. Now I can get rid of those. Okay, let's look at the short positions. Okay. In fact, I
saw
actually
about
like it up.
12%.
Huh?
I saw about 12% as of the end of June.
Okay. Well, yesterday, 27% of the orders for shorts.
Whoa.
That was yesterday. So, now doesn't mean those folks went home, but let's see on the 6th, 20%, and then it dropped down to 17, 17, 18, 18, and yesterday it went to 27. So you had a bunch of people pile in short yesterday, which makes me think that if this market can just go sideways, those guys are going to slowly cover until you see 70. Let's see what the bi-monthlies show. Okay, you've got 3 days to cover, which is kind of it's up there. It's not as good as some others, but yeah, 12.3. You got what? 34 million shares short. Is that right? Count the digits. Yep. You got 34 million shares short, which gives you an indication. So why did you think it was going to go down into expiration?
Well, just the way the market sometimes acts. I mean, look at what they did to J.P. Morgan. They're never
Today?
happy.
Or last time?
Last time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there was a lot in J.P. Morgan. It wasn't so much the numbers as the fact that they kind of intimated that the yield curve is going to collapse. And it is pretty flat. And that is a problem. In fact, I was talking to one of my subscribers today and saying that, the financials are not the rest of the market. A lot of people think that they are. It is a very different world out here where we have interest rates in Europe and the United States, and the low continued interest rates in Europe, in my opinion, are keeping down the long-term rates, and then the short-term rates, are kind of coming up here in the United States as we keep turning up the interest rate here. So I think we've got that flat interest rate, or the inverted yield curve problem, comes from them continuing to be much lower than us, and us continuing to raise. So, banks may just not do it. Now, Square, for the most part, is not those companies, right?
Right.
I mean, they don't make their
Totally
money on the
different
spread.
industry.
Yeah, that's so why it has some effect, because they're in some of the same ETFs. I don't think that it is. I would look at it as the proverbial financial stock. It's more of the .com of the financial stocks, right?
Right, and a lot of people got all excited because they thought Square was going to be this portal for Bitcoin trading.
Yeah.
And I didn't fall for that necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of pie in the sky stuff is everywhere. But to me, if I was going to pull a trigger on this one short, I'd want to see that $70 hit. And, going into light volume in the summer, a lot of people short this thing, especially piling on yesterday on an up day, and then seeing kind of a sideways day here today. Any kind, as long as this thing continues to kind of creep up and stays above its 9-day, I think you're going to see $70 on it next Friday.
Okay.
So, I think it's pretty easy stop. And as long as it continues going higher, I don't see any problem with it. I know a lot of people are thinking the market's going to crack before, next Friday. To me, That is fairly rare in options expiration week. I see no evidence of it that option market makers think that. And 80% of the time, the market will close higher than the low on Wednesday of this week. So just look at that. There's not a lot of risk reward to the downside. Historically, now we've got earnings that
Okay.
can change. Okay?
I appreciate your insight. Thank you, Dave.
You bet. We'll be back in a minute.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
A Rubik's Cube offers more than 100 million starting positions, resulting in 43 billion potential twists and turns. Yet this puzzle can be solved in 20 moves. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, and knowing the right move makes all the difference in the world. And on Thursday, July 19th at 4:15 p.m., I'll share with you the 3 essential tools behind my #1 ranking by Timer Digest for the S&P 500. This 30-minute event is being hosted by Ninja Trader, and it's open to everyone in our listening audience. At this event, I'll share with you the Rhodes Momentum Indicator signal that subscribers now use to identify tops and bottoms, as well as Stevie's red line and the market profiles that I use. The sign-up link is on the homepage of TFNN.com and requires nothing more than your name and email address. To help celebrate my #1 market timing ranking, we're making Mastering Probability available to anyone in our listening audience for the next 30 days with a free money-back guarantee, whether you've subscribed in the past or not. Make your move now by coming to the homepage of TFNN.com and sign up for Thursday's workshop, as well as my free newsletter trial offer.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Had one more question come back in, and what am I talking about in daily short numbers? The FINRA, which is the self-organizational body that controls traders and broker-dealers, on a daily basis does publish the amount of trades that were short sells during the day. What they don't tell you is how many of those trades were covered before the end of the day. There's always going to be some short sales in stocks every day, as the market makers use that to continue liquidity in the trading day. And you'll see if you watch it over time, you'll see the levels. But, you see a big move one day is a pretty good indication that everybody's getting on one side of the rail. It's something I don't like when going short. I don't want a lot of other people all shorting with me because they're going to be covering on the way back down. So to me, one, the possibility of a short squeeze goes higher. And two, the amount of money I'm probably going to make on a pullback also decreases because there's a lot more other people that are going to be natural buyers on the way back down. So I kind of like the theory that when everybody's shorting, I want to go long. And when everybody quits shorting, pretty good sign of a top. I don't see that. We still have a lot of bears. I think I talked about this on Wednesday, maybe, that I was out playing trivia night and everybody in the world in there was talking about stocks and they are all saying they were going lower. Normally, when I see markets that are topping, it's all about everybody telling everybody how the stock market can only go higher. I know that's anecdotal, but guess what? It's kind of worked for me over the years. And I would just like a little bit more bullishness to make me think this market is going lower. Now, maybe it just goes up for a while higher. That's enough for me. We'll see you at 3:30 with Tom O'Brien. Sell when you can, not when you have to.
TFNN has put together the finest programming lineup each trading day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected financial minds in the nation to educate traders and investors. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we broadcast 8 hours a day, starting at 9 a.m. as Larry Pesavento kicks us off with Trade What You See. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we broadcast 11 hours. Get an early and healthy start to your day as Nico and Paige bring you Living a Primal Lifestyle. Then catch Andy Hecht at 5 p.m. with the Commodities Hour, following the Tom O'Brien Show. Swim lessons from TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim is now at 11 a.m., followed by Basil Chapman at 12 noon. See the TFNN program lineup via the link on the front page of TFNN.com to get a complete overview of our TFNN shows and hosts. And keep TFNN's Tiger TV tuned in on your mobile device, PC, or Mac for the latest financial news and information throughout the broadcasting day. TFNN.com, educating investors.